Aloha everybody, this is Daniel Chang with VintageMagic.com here in beautiful Oahu at the Four Seasons Oahu Resort. We're shooting a video about counterfeit Magic the Gathering cards, but I wanted to make sure if you guys hear a bunch of Hawaiian music, that is not on purpose. So here we go. Here's the video for some counterfeit unlimited cards we received from a client in Europe. This client sent us 9 counterfeit cards where he purchased from a gentleman that claimed they were real, and they were indeed fake. Our client asked us to appraise the cards and authenticate them and write letters of authenticity to obviously describe the reasons why these cards were fake. He is going through a court case to get his money back, and you know, it's just one of the services that we do offer on VintageMagic.com. If you go to the services tab, if you click on appraisals, we do insurance appraisals and obviously value assessments for collections all over the world. It's one of those things where I think, you know, if you're a collector or, you know, player, you have these vintage cards, the value of these cards now have gone to a price where they're obviously more than just a game, but it's an investment. And if you buy these online and they're fake, or if you have cards that are stolen, you need to have some type of insurance appraisal. And it's good to get a professional appraisal from a dealer who obviously deals with these on a daily basis. We only deal with vintage, legacy, and old school Magic cards, eternal cards basically, and we sell them exclusively on our site VintageMagic.com. And I mean, I don't have the exact count, but I have handled over 1,000 unlimited Power 9 cards over the span of at least 15 years. I probably handled more than that, but I've kind of lost count at this point. So here we go. Let's take a look at some of these cards. We'll take a quick span across the cards. These are the Moxes. And I think you guys can kind of figure this out. The Unlimited Edition was the third core set of the original Alpha was the first, and Beta, and then there's Unlimited. And the Unlimited was the only white border set that had the Power 9. And the Power 9, obviously, when you produce fake Power 9 cards, they're worth a lot of money because to take the risk on it selling, they're still worth, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars, especially if you fake the Alpha cards. Now, this particular fakes are pretty obvious. I'm going to span it again, and I'm going to go a little slower, and just look at the corners, everybody. I'm going to tilt it sideways. Something wrong with the corners? What do you guys think for these unlimited cards? Alright, so as you might have guessed, the corners of the cards are all Alpha, except these controlled cards right here. So what I have here focused in is the left-hand side is the Time Walk that is fake. Then I have a control card, which is a real Magic the Gathering card of a Time Walk Unlimited, which is real. I have a left-hand side Black Lotus that's fake. And then I have the real Unlimited Black Lotus. All right, let's just do the corners. And obviously, this is pretty obvious. The Time Walk, left-hand side is the Alpha cut, which is the rounded corners. The Unlimited is the normal cut for like Beta and every other Magic card. Alpha, by the way, is the first black border set ever made for Magic. And that is the only set that has rounded, extreme rounded corners. And let's look at the Unlimited Black Lotus fake and the real. Okay, so for those of you who don't really believe me, this is the real on top of the fake. And oops, let's do that opposite because that makes more sense. Actually, no. Yeah. So here's the real on top, the fake, and watch this. And then if I flip it over, you will see a gap. There it is. So the fake is the one on the top, the bottom is the real. So what that tells you immediately, this is the number one reason why these cards are fake that were sent to us is because of the corners. They're not even the right corners. There were no such thing as alpha cut Magic the Gathering Unlimited cards ever. There was no test prints, there was no special editions. That is 100% a fake card. All right, so let's go through a few other tests that kind of I highlighted on the appraisal. Number one is, I mean, let's look at this black. The time walk was pretty glaring as the color. I'm gonna do something here. The mana symbols. Now, if you have a loop, the jeweler's loop, you can see the rosette pattern, which is basically the pixelation quality of the card. It's very difficult to see on this camera, but I'm gonna do an angle. But look at that right there. As I zoom in, the time walk on the bottom, that's just a fake, it gets very out of focus, blurry. Look at the symbols. The real time walk is much more deep and blue, much more clear and crisp. With just basic eye inspection, you can tell. Here's another glaring example. Is look at the sorcery area, the wording. Look at this. The one on the left is the real. It's very, that dark gray image that's very clear and crisp. And then the right is a very blurry, more, you know, almost like photocopied version. Another interesting thing is that the blue box, the two blue boxes. Now, one could argue that the left-hand side is darker, and obviously, and then the left is lighter because of maybe bleaching of the sun. That does happen. But you'll notice that again, it's the little fading of the words. They're very, very. It has a very photocopied look to it. Okay, so that's the printing is huge, and if you took a loop, you would see the photocopying image, or if you took a large scan of the cards, which I did when I did the authentication letter, and if you zoom in, you'll do the side-by-side examination. You will notice that the wording is definitely off dramatically. And here's the fake Black Lotus. And look how dark and crisp that is. This one, the real one. All right, so now something I'll note also was the back. I mean, obviously the back is an obvious, makes it an obvious fake in my opinion. Here's the back of the fake. Here's the back of the real. Okay, all right, so a couple things on the back. If you just look at it like this side, this kind of view, it's pretty tough. But as you go in, I'm not looking at the corners here, but looking at the back. I'm not sure if you guys see this on camera, but there is a lighter coloring on the fake, and it also has that glossy feel, whereas this real one on the bot right here, and this is the fake, it tends to be darker and deeper. You see that? That's clearer in image. especially the Magic the Gathering logo, look how dark and crisp that logo is on the bottom, and the one on the top is fake. It's a lighter finish. And as you zoom in, again, it has the blurriness, the pixelation is very, very, it's not a crisp pixelation. Let's look at the black Lotus, look at the back Lotus. So again, the top right here is the fakes, bottom is the real. Look carefully. So one is conclusively darker on the bottom, the right is much, the right top is fake, the Black Lotus, and then this is the real on the bottom right. Okay, so that's just one test. I mean, it's difficult obviously with camera, on the camera to tell exactly because you guys are out at, but the corners are the dead giveaway, and obviously the printing. Another thing is, you know, when I inspected these cards, the feel immediately, and I mean the surface feel of these cards were off. I mean, first off, if you feel this, it's a very smooth surface. This is the fake card, and handling so many real cards, you can kind of tell almost immediately. While this is smooth, this is the real card, it is smooth, there is definitely a matter finish, texture-wise, than there is on this glossy paper. It almost feels like the fakes are kind of that inkjet type of paper, but a little bit higher quality inkjet paper. All right, so another test that people use is the light test. I used the light test, but the thing with the light test is it really shows up more on cards that are not professionally glued properly. These cards were obviously produced very well, they were cut well, and you can even tell, it's hard to tell, but edges were, there's no like definitive edging that makes it seem okay. They're being glued together. So when I did the light test on these, they weren't a definitive. They were a little bit different. They allowed light to go through, but they also held light in. So that's pretty normal, and it was pretty consistent throughout. So it was hard to give a definitive answer just based on a light test. So you got to do multiple tests. All right, the next test people will always ask is the bend test. Now, again, the bend test, here's the fake time walk. I'm going to bend it as like other Magic card, like this, and watch what happens. I let it go, and I lift right here. It keeps its shape relatively. Now, there's no crease, I didn't crease it. But you'll notice that shiny gloss, you can just tell it is that photocopier quality paper. And it is holding its shape. Look, I mean, literally, you can make, this arch is staying here. Okay, put it back, and it bends back. Okay, all right, let's do the real time walk. Same thing, let it go. Okay, you'll notice that the arch is slight, but look, it's already coming back, and it's pretty normal. Let's do another way, this way. So again, you know, this one is the real time walk. It's keeping its arch slightly, but not as bad as the other one card. With any Magic card, it's meant to be, you know, played in a game. So there is going to be a tolerance for bending, but it's a tough test because both paper qualities are holding a slight bend if you bend it at an extreme. But definitely, I would say the real Magic card is keeping its shape less. It'll come back much easier than the fake one. I almost feel like the fake one, if I kept it bended the whole time, like here we go, is the fake one, like that. I mean, here, I'll just Like, I'll leave it there. I won't do any kind of retraction whatsoever. Okay, here's that. I wonder. So here's the fake still. Look at that extreme bend for the fake. And where are we at with this? See, yeah, there's not as much of a pivot. You guys notice that? Yeah. All right, so look at this thing is still bent. I mean, this is the real Magic card. Where are we at with it? I mean, it's coming back already. So anyway, very weird. See, I mean, you can just tell, like even when you put it down like this and see how it's still bent? I mean, this thing could move around. There's little or none of there. This is like very high up. Put it back. Okay, so that's the bend test. I mean, my theory on the bend test for this, but it was not a conclusive test. I would not say you can 100% tell, but as an expert, I can tell that, hey, obviously it failed, the fake cards failed the bend test in the sense that it clearly did not give back to original form after multiple times bending these cards. So that is one of the other tests that I performed, but I wasn't fully convinced, just to make sure on this process. So I would say it's a combination, everyone. I think you guys all have seen, you know, those of you who have seen Magic the Gathering cards, you can tell they give, they have a certain touch, they have a certain smell, they have a certain feel, a certain coloration. And I think what the hard part about it is, if you're not familiar with vintage cards, the print quality and all that, you're gonna sometimes feel like, hey, you know, I got a great deal on these cards and I'm gonna buy them.